Welcome to the Offsides podcast, episode 5. Let's go.
All right, we're back, bro.
We are back, episode 5.
Yeah, of Offsides with Elite. So it's good to be back here. Got some interesting conversations we think we're going to be having today. A little bit of our own life experiences, a little bit of knowledge and power, and can't hurt anybody.
Can't hurt.
So I just want quick, how do people find us? Like, where do they go?
They go to the SoundCloud link. We'll have it somewhere in here. If you're listening to the podcast right now, wait, I don't even know how that works.
Yeah, SoundCloud.
YouTube.
We're going to get this on Spotify, too.
We're going to go Spotify, maybe even Apple Music.
Yeah, go major. Why not?
Let's go.
Well, cool. So we're going to dig right in here, and we're going to talk about public speaking today.
Yeah.
And for me, quote unquote, as a professional, as a coach, father, husband, and certainly, in the corporate world, a business. And Brody, who obviously is a player, was a captain this year of our 18s. Now taking the next step to junior hockey, and also has his own influential YouTube page. With True Crew, I think a lot goes into confidence and how you speak and your delivery. So,
People don't want a soft-spoken, not someone that's not confident with their speaking. So it's very important to capture audiences and learn how to speak.
Yeah, nobody wants anybody who's vulnerable or not sure of their ways or their words.
Yeah,
right.
Words are powerful.
Yeah, no, they totally are in many different ways. So, and before we get into it as well, too, I mean, it's pretty outstanding. I was reading this morning on it. 75% of the population, are deathly afraid of getting in front of public to be speaking, and it's actually the term for it, glossophobia. Say that 4 or 5 times fast.
Glossophobia.
So, anyways, it's and it's of the norm, and I think that's what part of this conversation is to bring more awareness, to folks that are nervous to step out of their comfort zone, or give some tips on how to do it, and then just the everyday people of the anxiety they go through, and then how to overcome it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm one of those people. I've always kind of struggled with folks speaking, like even back in school, like shaking, like can't even hold the paper right, can't even read my own words on the presentation. But something you can always work on. Public speaking, I'm sure you're still working on your public speaking right now.
Yeah, totally. And I want to be really good at it. I think certainly when you're you want to be a true professional, you want to work with kids, you want to lead by example. I believe just on how your grammar and your words and again your delivery of your message is so important.
Yeah.
So and with that, some of the touch points here is building your grammar. And a lot of people have some questions. Well, how do I build my grammar? I'm 30, I'm 40, I'm 50 years old. Like I'm already past high school. Like I've already passed English class. Well, I think getting back to your roots and reading and having conversations. And important conversations too. So being around people that I think you're stretching a little bit, that I think your conversations, like you're going to have to do a little bit more research. You're going to have to dig in. Yeah. You're going to have a little bit more of a thought process of ideas and concepts and thoughts that you're having to have a nice, legitimate conversation with folks.
And I know we talked about this before the podcast, but some of the inspiration when I went to becoming a captain, because honestly had no idea what I was doing at first, but I used to look at all the NHL behind the scenes stuff, like I don't know what they called it, but it was like Winter Classic stuff. Like they would have like all the behind the scenes stuff, and I would watch all the captains or anyone who's just talking in the locker room, like what they have to say, like what motivates guys. And I think that's your own research too. Like you have to bond with the guys in the room. Like you have to know what works for them, what doesn't. So it's all part of the research process and, how to speak well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So, I mean, even with grammar, just is constantly, reading books and finding new words and, certainly then implementing them into your conversation, your sentences to help you grow. As you said, too, research, just the logic of everything, and when you're up in front of 100 people or 5 or 1,000, it's just you want to understand and know exactly what you're delivering your message on. So researching, get a little more foundation, I think is also really important.
It's huge, very important.
Delivery, and you and I were talking about this too, just the delivery on things, and it's not talking too fast, your posture, your breathing, and just taking that all in. So people really understand, what you're trying to accomplish and your purpose. And posture, like obviously both of us are sitting on a couch right now, we're comfortable, but when you get into it and you're in front of a group, people don't want slouches.
Yeah, body language is everything.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of information from them just by their body language. Like if they're slunched over, like they're not sure of themselves, like you want to be bold, pop your chest out, be presentable.
Like a lion's chest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did I hit the red line or no?
You hit the red line.
And then the other piece too is enunciation. When I was younger, my mother would always you talk like you have marbles in your mouth, son. And when you're younger, like, blah, 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 it didn't really matter. And then as you get older, when people are asking, what did you say? And they're looking at you like they don't understand you. Like you kind of look at it like, man, I gotta fix something here. Yeah. So I just think really enunciating your words, developing a voice.
Also, that brings me to another example. Last year we had this guy named Ray Diffley. Ray Diffley. He took videos of us when we were poke speaking. It was about like anything. I think it was about to be like a prep school interview or something. But he had the camera out, and we had to watch ourselves back, and a lot of us are like, oh my God, that's what I look like. Like you just look like you're scared, like you're like a deer in headlights.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's good exercise.
But you see what you need to work on right away, and I think that was really helpful for me because I was like, oh my God, like I do not look confident at all. Like my eyes are looking all over the place. Like my hands, I don't even know what my hands are doing. They're just like floating around. but but it's body language. But seeing that video and like being able to analyze it like that, it's like huge. Like you would never think to record yourself, but if you do that, I promise you'll see things right away that you need to work on. Yeah,
it's a cool point. Leads us right into like how do you build confidence in communication?
Yeah,
and I rehearse like a pro. And whether that's sitting in front of a mirror in your bathroom, just the example of what Brody gave, in a real practical exercise on hearing yourself speak, the eye contact, all that stuff, I think is huge.
Yeah.
The other thing too is turning anxiety into excitement. And when we look at this, like you go into a room and your palms are sweaty, your heart's pounding, your hair is probably a mess. Like you're just, just living it. So, how do you crush that moment is taking all those emotions and that excitement and learning how to really motivate your audience.
Learning how to drive it in certain ways and motivate guys. Because I'm sure they're going through the same thing. Maybe not as intense as you, but like in a moment, like if you're behind a couple goals or you're trying to give a huge speech before the game, like you have to drive yourself and touch down on the points that you're trying to think about, but like you're not sure how to deliver it. But that also comes with practice. So
I'd say too, Brody, like me walking into a locker room, with an 18U group, which is, I'm 40 years old, but it's still when you're with 17, 18-year-old kids, or young men at that time, there's a lot of guys that are thinking different things, whether you have some that are totally focused or you have some that are out to lunch or you have some that are very vulnerable in those moments too.
Yeah.
And I think as a coach, just really working to take that excitement, that nervousness as well too, in that moment and just kind of really working to organize your thoughts, refocus, and to step into that locker room and to deliver your message is so important.
Yeah. The first word is very important. Like it drives your entire speech moving forward. Like if you come out slow and like unsure, it's just going to reflect the entire speech.
Yeah, no, it's one of the many different levels. I think we all, I think we struggle with it, but certainly overcome it as well too. Mm-hmm. And part of this too is kind of dig into is thinking about your audience, and talking to an 18U group and how to motivate them, how to deliver your message is much different than, a squirt, a 10-year-old or 12-year-old group as well too. Yeah. So, I think like anything, you need to be very versatile. You need to know who your audience is, how to connect with them, and, and obviously how to motivate them, but also kind of bring some humor and fun into it. So, yeah, you can really get the most out of them too.
Yeah. Also bring in some stories as well. People love those. It also, that helps connect people with you as well. Like if you have a story that is familiar to their kind of story, like they're going to listen to you because they've gone through the same experiences. And if you can capture someone's like attention like that, you can really capture anything that they want. Like you can motivate them to do things you probably didn't even think that you could, just because you're connecting with them.
So talk about connecting. I mean, Brody, you've got a pretty outstanding YouTube page and TikTok and all that stuff, and I know you've worked diligently at it.
Yeah.
I will say, I think you kind of have different types of personas. You're like almost like a masked man, and when I'm talking to you, like you're a professional, and obviously you have a good delivery and you have great public speaking. But when I see you behind a camera and thousands of other kids across the world, for that matter, doing the same thing, like you're charming, you're charismatic, like you're funny. You're hot on your feet, so you have good trigger points as well too. Like that's got to be pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started, I literally had no idea what I was doing. No idea. I remember the first time I came I had my camera out for the first time going to the school. It's my first video. Probably don't watch it. It's really embarrassing. But I come in, like, people were like, what are you even doing? I was like, starting my YouTube channel, guys. So, like, you can't, like, people don't understand what you're doing until they see the product. And I think over time, I've kind of learned what works and what doesn't work. Like, people don't want it to be slow and boring. Like, you kind of have to be upbeat and entertaining. And that's part of the entertaining piece of my channel, which a lot of people, I think, enjoy.
Yeah, they totally do. I mean, my kids do, and a lot of the boys and girls across the world, and even adults for that matter, do as well too. But I think a lot of it is, as you said, is experience.
Yeah.
Like anything. Like we're talking about rehearsing like a pro. But also like learning from your mistakes. When what is your audience like versus they dislike, and you're right of the energy as well too that I think you really bring, or people need to bring to capture the audience. To get them excited about what you're about to deliver as well too.
I think just trying to make people laugh is an awesome thing for me, because I like making people laugh. I enjoy it, and being able to see people laugh from my videos is like it's super important to me. And I just like to be upbeat, because when you're watching my video, I don't want you to get upset. Like I want you to enjoy it, and after the video, you can be like, wow, I want to watch another one. I want to watch another one. Like, then that's kind of how you build your brand, build your views.
Yeah, no, I think just getting over that first episode, if you may, and just ripping the Band-Aid off and getting out there, learning from your mistakes and growing. Like, and not for nothing, I don't know how you feel, but when I stand in front of this year at a banquet, and probably 500-600 people deliver a strong message of how much we appreciate our audience and our players and our families and everything, and then just the connection of our community. Once that's over with, like it's like such a rush. Like you're like I'm ready for the next one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's anything in life. Like this can just be a life speech at this point, but starting anything for the first time is the scariest part. Once you get over that first hump, you can literally do anything. And that comes with business, friends, relationships, anything you can think of. Just getting past that first point is just, it's mind-blowing what you can do after that.
I saw this quote, forget everything and run, or face everything else and rise. And I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Because you can, it's so easy to just, hide behind the camera. It's so easy to obviously just not face your fears.
I think people are just afraid to get themselves out there.
Yeah.
I think that's just huge. Like that comes with public speaking too. Like you're afraid of what people think about you. And once you kind of get like, no matter where you are in life, there's going to be people that don't like you. Like that's just a fact. But once you get past that hump, you can just be yourself. And I think that's just the most important part with public speaking and anything really. Just be yourself. Don't try to be anyone else, because people want you. They don't want freaking Billy Joe or who the heck.
No, they want you. Yeah. Be true to yourself. And then it just kind of, with this as well too, organizing your message. And I think with anything, like you need to have, your vision, you need to have your goals, and certainly the identity, the purpose, of your message as well too, which is also, I think, some people are really good at winging it. I'm not. Like I need to get in front and to make sure I have organized thoughts and, just making sure that I stay on task. Otherwise I'm just all over the screen.
Yeah. That's actually a funny story, because I filmed a video for Sideline Swap like 2 weeks ago, and I tried to do it by myself for the first time with no script. I was like, I literally don't even know what I'm saying. So I had to print out a script, organize my thoughts, Then once I had my thoughts organized, I did it like in first take. I was like, oh, there you go.
Yeah. No.
Just organize your thoughts.
World of difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah. And then, it's certainly the purpose of your conversation, so it's, I think a lot of folks just same thing. Will just throw whatever's at the wall. Hopefully the audience laughs or, pays attention to you. But, my mother always taught me too, is keep it simple, stupid, So when you're going through, like, just think about, again, we talked about your audience, think about the purpose, and then certainly like, almost like visualize, your speech and your delivery, and then how your audience is going to react to it. The same way, like walking into a locker room, it's whatever, you're down 2-1, going to third period. Like, how am I going to motivate these guys? Is it going to be a million different things of, me, John at them swearing this, that, and the other? Or is it, hey, let's have 3 strong points that these guys understand what they need to do to overcome and win?
Yeah, you also have to reflect on the locker room or wherever environment you're in, because if you're coming out hard and everyone's like, if someone's down in the locker room, you have to build them up. You can't just go right at them. Like, you have to start slow and then build your way up. And you've done that in the locker room multiple times. And I've seen you do it, and it's awesome to see, because you can have a locker room who's down 3-0, like, I don't want to play hockey anymore, like that, down, and like, you can build people back up. And that's huge for winning hockey games and just life in general. You need guys that can help build you up, and having speeches that are like that are just huge. Yeah.
And the other thing too is this, I think the progressive steps, just like a business plan or a marketing plan or a coach, who's wants to have a practice or a game plan. Definitely with public speaking, I definitely believe there needs to be a progressive steps, to everything. So just making sure that you're almost like checking each box off, as you're going through your speech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So which can be really hard because you've got so much to get out there. But again, keeping that focus is enormous.
Yeah, and that goes back to their take it slow part of not going too fast.
Yeah.
Because you can lose so many people if you go too fast because they won't understand what you're saying. But if you slow down and you connect with people, they'll just understand it so much better.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you're going through this, a part of it too is educating yourself, on what you're selling.
Yeah.
So what if you're in pharmaceutical sales and it's a one-on-one meeting, and again, you're advocating for yourself, it's public speaking. You've got to have your delivery points. You've got to sell that product.
People like facts.
They love facts. And from recruiting, to sales, I think if you focus on the facts, that's how you build people's trust. And they'll want to buy or they'll want to listen, to whatever you're selling.
Yeah. Yep. If you have facts, you can deliver anything because facts don't lie.
They don't lie. And another piece too is for players. I think I was just actually was a former 18U guy that's now going through the process of junior hockey, and he played in a tournament last weekend. And I won't use his first name, but I'll use his name as Joey. We'll call him Joey.
Joe.
Okay, Big Joe. So Big Joe's going through the weekend and all that stuff, and scoring goals, and the coach is literally on the bench, that's going to be offering him a tender. Mm-hmm. And I say, Big Joe, have you gotten any feedback from the coach? Immediately, no. I said, okay, well, have you advocated for yourself to let him know that you want to play for him? Mm-hmm. All right. And the reasons why, and then why he should take you as well too.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I haven't done that. I'm like, well, you're like a step away from changing your future and getting exactly what you want. So getting back to it, whether ripping the Band-Aid off, or facing your fears, you've got to step into it. If one, you want to become a professional, you want to become a hockey player, if you want to take a chance on yourself too. And I think it's such a small but big thing that kids or adults or whoever's listening, can really take advantage of.
Like, you're right there. You just got to advocate for yourself. Like, you can be deathly afraid, but you just got to mask it just for that 2 seconds. Because once you say the 2 seconds, you just got to say whatever you need to say, and then that's it. The worst thing that they could say is no. But in that case, like, he wants you at that point.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to ask.
Just got to ask. Just got to take the next step. So with that being said, episode 5 was a blast, man. Talking about improved public speaking. Hopefully y'all took a couple notes here. Certainly I love to be back, man. It's good to be next to you. And capitalizing and trying to make people better too.
You guys better have taken notes, because if I watched this and I didn't take notes, I would not have known what even happened, because I have short-term memory loss.
Well, no, we're gonna close out here, and next week we'll be back again. We're gonna have a special guest, Scott Davidson, former Quinnipiac player and captain at QU.
That's huge.
And it's going to be talking about balance, more of a holistic approach, and then how he handled that as a student athlete in Division I athletics.
Yeah, that's exciting, guys. Stay tuned. Let's go.
Stay tuned. Let's go. See you next time.
See you next time.